of you may have considered putting your house on Airbnb, but you might have rooms in your house that you want to keep private, you know, where you're just going to put all your paperwork and bank stuff and your passwords and whatever. You don't want anyone, you know, or your journals, you know, private diaries, photos, and you don't want guests to see them. So I always recommend having one room that's private. Now, have to lock that room up somehow. And what's not convenient is one of those shed locks that you mount from the outside, because you can just get a screwdriver and undo them and take them back off. You want a lock that guests can't access and remove with tools. So I recommend putting, because it's a great DIY solution. If you don't have great DIY skills, great joinery skills, you know, you don't know how to work with a chisel, or your chisels aren't sharp, you know, or you don't have the right kind of drill bits. This is a solution that I'm going to install today in my house. That is a surface mounted rim sash lock, which requires minimal DIY skills. You know, you're going to be drilling one slightly bigger hole, and the rest is just using screws and maybe some pilot holes to get the screws in. So this lock is going to get surface mounted here, and I'm going to show you how I'm doing that today. Yeah, that's what we're going to do today, and I'll walk you through it. The first thing I'm going to do now is remove these existing handles here. So that just requires a simple screwdriver, ideally a ratchet screwdriver, so it's a lot easier on your wrist. So here we go. There you go. And you can remove this one, this keeper as well. I'm just going to leave it in for now. Right, so this is all gone now. Now unboxing. Woohoo! Lovely. Lovely. That's what it looks like. Oh, it even comes with knobs. Look. This is what you get with it. This is the rim lock. This is the keeper. Comes with two knobs, inside and outside. Two keys. This goes like that, and this is for the outside of the door to hide the keyhole and accommodate the key. And that's what we're gonna install now. First, I'm marking where to drill the pilot holes for this rim lock. Now I've got a pilot bit on my drill, and I'm just going to drill a small pilot hole where I made my marking. So now I'm just going to do a temporary fitting. I'm not going to tighten these screws all the way. I really just want the lock to be in its final position now. Yeah, so it's not moving. So I can now mark where I need to drill these other two holes, because you need two other big holes now that need to go through to the other side of the door, so you can fit the handle and you can have a keyhole for the key. Okay, so now I'm going to mark these. You have two options to mark them. I've got one of these really nice fancy marking pens. If you don't have one, they cost about 5-6 quid. You can also use a bradawl, which is just a long pointy bit that you can stick through right in the middle and mark just by pushing nice and hard, so you have an indentation on the other end. So that's the other option you have. But I'm going to be using this marking pen, which you just push and it makes a push, and then some air makes some paint fly it onto the other side. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Listen carefully. Right, so hopefully that will have done it. So now I've got marks on the other side. I can remove this lock now. Okay. And you can see clearly now, hopefully, these three markings. Okay. Now, what we want here, this marking, is where the spindle is going to fit through. So you need a hole that's big enough to accommodate the spindle. Yeah. And that might be, you might just get away with a size 10 or 12 hole, but you need slightly bigger drill bits. So you're likely going to need, this is the only complicated, slightly more complicated bit of joinery work for this. You need a slightly bigger drill bit than just your normal wooden drill bits. Yeah, so normally, so this is sort of the biggest normal round drill bit that I have in my kit. I think this is a size 12. I'm going to try that first. Then you can move up to these spade bits or paddle bits, and they go up to real nice big sizes like this, 28. This is a 13. So we're going to need a bigger one for the keyhole. Not quite sure which size yet, but I'll find out. But for the spindle, I'm going to try the size 12 now, okay? So you're just going to use your normal combi drill. So you use your combi drill for this. And you set it on rotary. Yeah, so we're going to set it to rotary. Speed 1 is fine. Just make sure you're going forward. And I'm going all the way through the door, okay? That's it. That's all the way through the door, and now hopefully this will fit, accommodate. So this is a bit tricky. I'm not happy. The hole isn't big enough to really comfortably, yeah, so not happy with size 12. I'm going to go up now. You don't want that hole to be too tight, because that will stop your handle from moving freely. We don't really need that. So now I've moved up to the spade bit, size 16, and I'm going into the same hole. There you go. So that's perfectly good now. Brilliant. For the other hole, we made two marks here, you can see, because I went through the top bit and the bottom bit, and we want that key to fit through that hole. Yeah, from both sides. So I want a drill bit that is this big. And I think that my size 28, if I offer that up, that's really nicely covers that. So that's the size I think I'm going for. If I go smaller, no, that's the one. That's the one. So 28 for that. Again, you just need your normal drill. Yeah. Rotary, speed 1. Make sure your bit is nice and secure and isn't wobbling. And now I'm going in the middle between those two markings so that I get a hole right there. Okay, let's see how we go. You know what I'm thinking now? I'm thinking that the hole I'm drilling is too big, which isn't a problem on this side of the door because it'll all be hidden by the rim lock. But on the other side of the door, I need to remember that I need to fit this bit. So I need some wood to screw this cover, this key cover bit onto. So I can't drill all that stuff off. So it's not too late, luckily, because I haven't gone all the way through to the other side. I'm going to reduce the hole size now to just the width or thickness of this. And that way, yeah, in fact, I'm just going to drill a couple of holes that are big enough to cover this. So I'm just going to drill a couple of holes vertically so the key can fit through that end. Okay, so this is now working. Yeah, the key operates this lock. If you look here, yeah. So now I can secure this key cover rim type thing. So I'm just going to mark where the holes are supposed to go. And perfect. So that's that. These are just old holes from previous. This door is really old. I think I'm just going to fill these with wood filler just to make it look a bit better. But as far as this lock, this is now working nicely. Now I'm going to put this on for the handle. So put the handle on the other side. These handles come with grub screws. So you need to secure a grub screw on this side, and that tightens the handle to the spindle. And to be honest, if you wanted to, you could use your own handles as well. So you have the option, if you have a nice wooden doorknob that's sort of a bit more vintage looking, you don't want one of these additions to it. You just want the plain. So these wouldn't work because they've got another little sort of rim around it. But if you just had a knob on its own, you can stick that in onto the spindle and use one of your own. So you have that option. I'm just going to go with this plastic one that came with it, but you know, you don't have to. Right, so I'm going to stick this through here, and that works marvelously, marvelously. Then we're going for this. I'm just going to drill a couple of pilot holes now. So let's do that now. Now you need the other handle and the other grub screw. And so this side of the door is all sorted. We've got the handle here, the keyhole here, the keyhole works. Yeah, so that's all sorted. All looking good, looking neat. What we need now is on that side of the door, we need our keeper, right? So we need to fit this onto the wall here now. That's what's next. And then we're done. That's just surface mounted, so you don't need a chisel to chisel anything in. You could have used a chisel here. If you wanted that kind of sunk further back into the door, and for this rim lock to be flush with this frame, this side of the door, you could have chiseled this bit out if you know how to use a chisel. And that way this lock would be flush with the door and it wouldn't stand out. But I don't need that. I've got enough space between the door and the frame of the door to accommodate these additional 2 millimeters. So I decided not to do that. Okay. Let's see if it fits. It works.